Again, I wanted to echo Sean's comments and indicate that it's a distinct pleasure, even though I am the most recent candidate to announce my candidacy as a Liberal candidate. I probably will be the first one to face both a nomination contest and a potential by-election and the will of the voters here in Scarborough Agincourt. First of all, happy Easter to everyone. Welcome to the riding of Scarborough Agincourt. You're actually in this particular riding, and I'm very pleased to see all of you here today. Sean's covered a lot of the themes that I wanted to cover, but I again want to stress exactly the same kind of things that is driving me to put my name forward, along with some of the themes that you've heard of from all the other Chinese Liberal candidates. I think one of the great challenges that we have often faced as a collective community has been a willingness to participate in the democratic process. As Sean has already alluded to, I too share a very similar immigrant experience, where my parents first came here in the 1960s with their hopes and their dreams and their hard work. The very basic theme that is the core of the Liberal mantra and that of Justin Trudeau. And they came here basically with no more than a few dollars in their pocket, their skills and their willingness to work hard to give opportunity to their families and to their children. I guess I view myself as a manifestation of that hard work that many of the current families today in our collective ridings are continuing to perhaps struggle with, particularly in the face of the policies of this current government. One that does not view our collective will or our collective communities as something where we can work together, but rather views things from the perspective of attempting to divide communities and to parse them into discrete, separate units. That is not the way Canada was built. That was not the values in which my family, that our tradition as Chinese have been raised to consider. We need to learn to work together. And so in announcing my candidacy and seeking the Liberal nomination here in Scarborough Agincourt, I believe strongly that the kind of values that Justin Trudeau has been advocating for middle-class values, making sure that everyone has the same equal opportunity to benefit like how all of us have benefited from coming to this land, remains the same opportunity that our children and our children's children will share into the future. So I'm very excited by the fact that we're starting to see emerging from the Chinese Canadian community a number of individuals that are seated here today that are prepared to put their names forward in nomination. But as Sean has already indicated, that is only part of the process. It also requires an active decision by people within our community and within the broader community to actually actively engage so that we can build the kind of civil society which was the basic reason why our parents actually came here in the first place. So I'm excited by the challenge that lays ahead. I know that I will be facing the will of both our party membership and potentially the will of the electorate in the most immediate, and hope that I can encourage you as part of a call to action to get involved, to actually consider if you have a propensity towards supporting the Liberal Party, join one of our teams if you live in our respective ridings and support these candidacies. That is the way in which we will actually affect the kind of change that we need to see in our respective communities. We've seen in the past already a kind of laissez-faire, let-it-go kind of attitude coming from the Harper government. That has to stop. We need to actually have a plan and a process that I know that our leader, Justin Trudeau, is putting together, and the kind of team that he is assembling that will lead for the kind of dynamic change that is absolutely absent right now in Ottawa. So thank you again for coming in. We'll be happy to take your individual questions at this time.
So what's your history with Liberal Party?
If you're referring to myself, I've been a veteran of the Liberal Party for the last 30 years. So I actually joined the party when I was 16, starting out here in York, Scarborough. When June Rowlands, you probably remember the former mayor, first sought the Liberal candidacy here in what would now be a combination of the ridings of Scarborough North, Scarborough Agincourt, and Scarborough Rouge River. So I've been an active member of the party as a volunteer, subsequently as a staffer at Queen's Park, having served two premiers, both the previous premier, Premier McGuinty, and then more recently as a member of the transition advisory team to Premier Wynne. And of course, you may also know me in my previous iteration as Minister Michael Chan's first chief of staff. So I've been an activist both within government and within my party for the last 30 years.
So can you talk about your nomination? Like, what's the day for nomination, and how many, so far you know how many candidates is going to run for the nomination?
So in Scarborough Agincourt, this has been an issue that's been thrust upon very quickly with the recent resignation or retirement of Jim Carey-James from Ottawa. The party has not yet declared a date, but they have declared electoral urgency, which basically means that at any time they can basically call the nomination date and the nomination cutoff. So in terms of process, the only people that can choose the Liberal nominee are members of the party within that particular electoral district. So the urgency right now is actually to recruit members into each of our respective ridings, and when that nomination date is called and the cutoff date is set for the nomination for eligibility to actually vote, that's the key date that we will all be working towards in order to attempt to secure our party's nominations. And so I've been very quickly assembling my campaign team, getting out there, meeting with voters, trying to solicit as many members to join the party in order to participate in that nomination contest. As it relates to Scarborough Agincourt, I anticipate that to happen within weeks. Nomination cutoff could be within 1 to 2 weeks. The date could be the week after that. The party has not yet actually set that date, but I anticipate that to be announced within the coming days.
And so how about Jim? Like, Jim have been in the riding as an MP for many years, and he gained quite a lot of support in the riding. Do you get endorsed from Jim, or?
Well, I know that Jim himself, has served loyally the residents of Scarborough Agincourt for nearly 26 years, since he was first elected in 1988. And in the doors that I've already been meeting, where I've been out meeting with constituents, Jim's name recognition is incredibly high. There is an incredible following for the kind of hard work and dedication that Jim has shown to the residents here in Scarborough Agincourt. And so you can see, notwithstanding sometimes that in the past few years that Liberal fortunes may have been falling on a national scale, Jim's incredible hard work here in Scarborough Agincourt, managed to translate in the fact that he managed to continue to hold his seat despite our declining fortunes. In terms of Jim's process, he's already declared that he will be running for City Council in Ward 39, and I fully anticipate that Jim will be busy and active in that pursuit.
So any anticipated date for the by-election?
Well, as you know, the process for the selection of the by-election is determined by the Prime Minister. There was an anticipation that the by-elections might have been called sooner as a result of two vacancies in Alberta, both the riding of Macleod and Fort McMurray Athabasca, where there were both the retirement in November and in January, respectively. However, again, we don't really control that decision. The prerogative is entirely with the Prime Minister. And so he may call them very soon, but that is ultimately his decision. The legal requirement is that within a retirement or a death, or basically a vacancy of a seat, that it must be called within 6 months. So my anticipation is that our party, we certainly know that our party will, certainly in the ridings of Trinity, Spadina, and Scarborough Agincourt, will move very quickly to try to put candidates in place, and that we need to get into an electoral footing to fight that by-election that's coming up.
So it's likely on 4.
I'm sorry, Joe?
It will be likely in 4, or?
Again, it's entirely up to the Prime Minister. We have no control over that process. It could be sooner, it could be later. I think whomever are the successful candidates in these three, at least in the Ontario ridings, needs to be prepared to go at any time. And I certainly, if I'm the successful Liberal nominee, certainly will be prepared at any time that the Prime Minister decides to call that by-election to go into an immediate by-election campaign.
Can you tell me your platform?
Yeah, what I personally, as Sean has echoed, I think a lot of the key themes at a meta level in terms of fighting for middle class values and making sure that we have equal opportunity. In terms of more specific issues for me, particularly given my type of background, I have always felt that one of the voices that has been missing from Ottawa, has been a coherent and clear message that we need to be more active in the city building project, and particularly you've seen the struggle that we've had here in Scarborough over the transit plan and the multiple iterations of different plans that are being put forth. Surprisingly, the voice that is the most silent in this debate has been the federal order of government. Yes, they do participate on an ad hoc basis through their investments, and they do make a contribution strategically in a number of capital projects. However, there is not a sustained, ongoing commitment to the kind of funding of infrastructure that is absolutely critical for the engines of our economy. As you know, at the end of the day, our great cities, our great city regions, like the Greater Golden Horseshoe, require a constant infusion of capital to build the kind of effective cities that will ultimately be the engines of our economic growth. You can already see some of the challenges that we have recently faced, for example, over our recent winter, where our city infrastructure is eroding, and if we do not continue to actually provide dedicated streams of revenue to actually maintain efficient and vibrant cities, we will ultimately hamper our ability in the future to grow. Other critical issues, I'm particularly perturbed by the Harper government's approach with respect to immigration. As I think a number of the candidates have already alluded to, one of the big challenges is that this government tends to view immigrants in discrete economic terms. What can they contribute immediately to Canada? And while that's an important consideration, they forget that people don't come here as discrete economic units. They come as people. They come in families. Right? We need to find that right balance between bringing individuals that bring important skills that may be lacking in Canada or where we may have shortfalls, but they also must come within a social network. That's how they succeed. That's how my family succeeded. My father came under economic class, but much of my extended family, whom he subsequently sponsored, came under other classes, including under family class. And because we were able to work collectively through that social network, our collective family was able to contribute in a significant way to our economy here. So we need to find that balance, and I have a sense that this current government has lost the recognition.
Yeah, thank you.
好，谢谢。